Hello, this is Rudy Giuliani, and welcome back to the Rudy Giuliani Show. I hope you had a really good weekend. I was a little under the weather this weekend, but I had a really good weekend, and just recovering from a cold, whatever you call it, something or other. Somehow, some way, in Oman, Steve Witkoff and the foreign minister of Iran had a positive, constructive meeting. That is the first positive, constructive meeting between the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran, I think, since it's been the Islamic Republic of Iran. Even when Obama and Biden were giving them billions, and in some cases, billions of dollars, in some of it in cash, they would complete it by saying death to America. So I don't know what Steve Witkoff did, but this was a positive meeting. Now, what does that mean? What does a positive meeting with Iran in Oman mean? Oh, it's going to be followed by a second meeting on Saturday. I do think that the president has Iran in an exceedingly narrow little corner with not much room to maneuver, or Iran has put itself there. Iran is some unknown but very brief period of time away from being able to go nuclear in terms of weapons. In fact, it might almost be a fiction, meaning they could do it in 3 days or 4 days if they can. Maybe they can do it and they're just lying. How can you believe anything about Iran? So they're either a month away from being nuclear, or they're 3 days away, and I guess the more important thing is, if they were to decide today, 4 months from now, they would have somewhere between 4 and 7 nuclear bombs. Now, the nuclear bombs would be, if I understand all this correctly, about as powerful as the ones that were used at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nothing like what we have, what Russia has, and what we assume China has, and nothing like I assume, but they don't admit it, right? Israel has, which means although they have nuclear weapons, and the nuclear weapons they have can be lethal, and certainly could be very disruptive in the world if used, they certainly could not have a nuclear war with the United States. I'm pretty sure they couldn't have one with Israel right now. And the thought always had been that he needs about 2 or 3 more years. In fact, a lot of the thinking that he didn't enter into a major war with Israel is that he's not ready for that either, in terms of the way his proxies let him down in conducting the war with Israel. Or Israel pretty easily dispatched with all of his proxies, all of Ayatollah's proxies. And America's doing a pretty good job with the Houthis right now. In fact, Trump is increasing the efforts on the Houthis because they're found to have killed even more and more people. So Trump has said, and this is what I believe the positions are: the country, Iran, is not going to be a nuclear power. And we're just going to prevent it from being a nuclear power. We're either going to prevent it with their agreement, or we're going to prevent it without their agreement. Now, I would want to put the caveat on that. That shouldn't be extended for any more than about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, because Iran has a very, very skillfully used delay in the past to allow itself to sneak out of agreements, change things, change circumstances, protect themselves, hide things that they need. This should be decided right away. And the most important thing is, and this is the issue that came up in the debate that took place, I don't know with them or in the American media. There's a column in the Wall Street Journal with done by John Kerry, who, of course, was one of the architects, if not the architect, of the Biden administration, Obama administration nuclear deal, which was an absurd deal because it didn't do away with the nuclear weapons. It allowed them to have enriched plutonium up to a certain level, which could be used for the peaceful use of nuclear power. And that level was at the time also a couple of months away from the level you would need to be able to support 4 or 5 atomic weapons. And I don't know exactly over the course of the 10-year deal how close they could get to having stockpiles that would be used for atomic weapons if they would only be able to have 4 or 5 or 10, 12, or a larger number. But then after the 10-year period, they were free to be nuclear, although they claimed, of course, they didn't want to be, but they wanted that freedom to be nuclear. And no one, of course, believed them. And everyone believed that during the period of time that the agreement was in effect, they were enriching their uranium far more and far more than they agreed to in the agreement, far more than they were allowing us to see, and far more than in some cases we were willing to see because we played with them. And that's why Trump did away with the agreement. Now, this agreement, as far as I can tell, will be nothing like that. There's going to be no peaceful use of nuclear power or any of that garbage. Iran doesn't need the peaceful use of nuclear power. It's got more power than 50 nuclear power plants could provide. Remember, we get oil and natural gas from Iran. They can use that for their power. They got plenty of it. The theory has been brought up of dismantlement, voluntary dismantlement. If they don't agree, of course, Trump has said it'll be militarily removed, meaning they'll be attacked, and those AFB-2 bombers are there for that purpose. And we're actually they're getting a little practice over Yemen. And they're there. They're ready to go. I mean, they're ready to take them out and do away with them. The thought is Iran might agree to destroy all of their nuclear weapons, but there would have to be complete transparency, and it would have to be done under our direction, under the direction of the United States, probably by our B-2 bombers, by the bunker buster bombers. The only way you could do it, voluntarily fly over with their agreement and get everybody out of the area and blow the hell out of it. Gone. And then inspect it and make sure it's not there, and then have inspections every 3 months for the rest of eternity, or until the Ayatollah is a thing of the past and they have a government headed by someone like Maryam Rajavi. So the question is that better than a military elimination? And for the first time, I find myself in agreement with the Wall Street Journal and John Kerry and the Post. And the Post is saying that it should be nothing short of, complete elimination and destruction of all of their nuclear power. And if they screw around too much, then it should just be done militarily. We're waiting too long, and they always jerk around. It's going to be very, very hard for the Ayatollah, after he said so often that he's not going to allow us to determine whether they can or cannot have nuclear power, that he's going to look like a very weak leader if he allows us to do it. On the other hand, his country is starving. He was told, I think, if he didn't have the meetings, that there was a chance that they'd be deposed, that he would be deposed. The pressure to do this is so great in Iran. I think the Iranians are convinced, and they should be, that Trump and Bibi are ready to attack him. Just a question of how much can they jerk him along and stretch him out. The only unknown question is, in the long run, will the Ayatollah agree to allow us to voluntarily eliminate them? I mean, he could say he's going to eliminate them, but then we would have to be there watching him do it to make sure it was done, and inspect it later to make sure it was done. And I don't think he knows how to eliminate them, or has the bunker buster bombers that we have and Israel has. So I think he would have to use us to eliminate them. So that's where we are. So when you think of the agreement, don't think of it as there's a long, complicated peace treaty between the United States and Iran. It's a treaty to get rid of nuclear capacity. Eliminate it. Get rid of it, eliminate it, have them so far away from building a nuclear weapon that it would take 10 years to put that all back together again. So that's where I think we are now. Ted, do you agree that suppose Iran says, okay, we don't want to be attacked, so you can come in and dismantle our nuclear capacity. Would you accept that as completing the task of making sure they're not a nuclear power?
So the proposition is they will dismantle it.
Yeah,
the entire program. But they will not, or they will allow us to observe to go in.
It depends, right? It depends on whether Trump says that that's the only thing he would agree to. I guess it depends on how tough he is about that.
Don't we need a process that removes the Ayatollah, which might be hard to do, right? They're not going to agree to that.
Pardon me?
Well, how important is it that the Ayatollah be removed from power? And that's probably not something on the table here, correct? I mean, there's no way they're going to sit there and agree to that, right? Or do we have leverage?
It's very important that the Ayatollah be removed from power. It's very, very important that the Islamic Republic of Iran cease to exist. Those are both exceedingly important. Can you decouple those two? Yeah, I think you can. I mean, it would be an achievement in of itself if they were no longer a nuclear power. I mean, they can always be a nuclear power 10 years from now, but they'd have to start up all over again. So this article in the Wall Street Journal, when I saw that John Kerry was in favor of an agreement, I said, well, I'm against an agreement. But then when I read what he wrote and thought it over, it seems to me that he's right. He has actually the balance of forces have changed dramatically. The tips of the regime's proxy spheres, Hamas and Hezbollah, have been thoroughly degraded. He should point out by Bibi Netanyahu, but that's a little tough. Its client state, Bashar al-Assad, Syria, has been dismantled. Following its ill-conceived missile attacks on Israel, Iran's airspace has been rendered defenseless against the Jewish state. The Iranian people's privation, justified by the government as the necessary price of decades of revolutionary inventionism, are now under scrutiny at home. Mr. Trump can seek an agreement that prevents Iran from ever possessing a potentially lethal nuclear program. He should prohibit uranium enrichment above the threshold for civilian use and require an end to hardened or buried nuclear sites. A strict cap on the amount of fissile material in Iran's possession, coupled with a comprehensive inspections program, would have to be agreed to. There should be an outright termination of sponsorship of proxies and terrorism by Iran. As Kerry says, geopolitically, Tehran has no better option. Their back is up against the wall. In fact, Bibi Netanyahu has left them with no further option. Their proxy strategy has failed spectacularly. And they should take this option before a military confrontation with the U.S. or Israel will completely destroy whatever they have left of an economy. Now, Khomeini has many times stated his opposition to nuclear weapons. He condemns their development. Well, Kerry says if he has no intention of acquiring nuclear weapons, why not preempt a war that could lead to cataclysmic consequences for him in the region in return for the certainty that comes with a treaty? Given these stakes, Mr. Trump's willingness to pursue diplomacy is prudent. Iran would be smart to take him up on this opening for peace before Shah is superseded by Shah Mat, checkmate. We should all root for wise decisions. He ended stupid, but that's okay. So is that what he and Witkoff are talking about? If that's the state, not he, but whoever is negotiating for him, the Post, of course, is a little bit more worried. They say, "Don't let Witkoff get snowed," in this here editorial. Look, that disagreement has to be approved by Trump, and Witkoff is not inclined, I think, to get snowed. Michael Goodwin also comes to the conclusion, somewhat reluctantly, that if the dismantlement possibility, says a dismantlement possibility rather than a war, the dismantlement possibility should be taking place. But Iran's a former nuclear negotiator has declared that Khomeini would never agree to dismantling its nuclear program, and that such a demand would be a deal breaker. So, is he going to blink? I don't think Trump is going to blink. So he's going to have to be the one to blink if this is going to be a voluntary situation of mandatory withdrawal of nuclear weapons. If it's not, well, then the bombing will take place, and I guess that would have the additional benefit of getting rid of the Ayatollah. I think if he gives up nuclear weapons and caves into the United States and enters it in a treaty like that, it's more than likely it's the end of the Ayatollah anyway. But we'll have to, that's a speculation as opposed to an absolute hard reality. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep green, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. That guy's amazing and he's staying active well into his 80s. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a very special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Lindell. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Lindell. You won't believe how simple it is.
Welcome back to the Rudy Giuliani Show on Lindell TV. And now we're going to go to Washington, and we're going to speak to Allison, our White House correspondent. If Allison, there she is. Allison, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Mayor. I'm great. How are you doing?
Good, good. So it was an interesting visit today.
Yes, we had the president of El Salvador here at the White House, as you can see right behind me. Bukele was here in the Oval Office with President Trump. It was a very successful visit. It pretty much highlighted the need for ridding America of the violent criminals and terrorist organizations that have been let into our country over the last 4 years under the Biden regime, the importance of getting these violent criminals out of the country, and of course, what President Bukele is doing to bring these criminals back to El Salvador where they belong. So the president of El Salvador and, of course, President Trump have a great working relationship. It seems like everything is going really well between them. And there was even a couple laughs in that Oval Office today when President Trump called out the fake news multiple times for their ridiculous questions. I think we have a clip of that if you want to play that. Good. We have the clip.
I remember.
Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, 95%? It's incredible.
As of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out with the fake news, like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They only like putting out because I think they hate our country, actually.
Yeah,
but it's a shame. You're right. Isn't that a great question? Why doesn't the media? Why don't they put out numbers?
Yeah, 99%. I mean, it's crazy, right?
We're doing.
It's a crazy turnaround.
Christy, could you maybe say a couple of words about the border? How we're doing?
It's just been absolutely phenomenal what a great leader can do. Clear direction. Our laws matter. We should only have people in our country that love us, and the Border Patrol and our ICE officers and law enforcement officers have done fantastic work. So we're proud of them. Now we just need to get the criminals and murderers and rapists and dangerous gang members and terrorist organizations out of our country. So, Mr. President Bukele, we thank you very much for your partnership. It has been wonderful for us to be able to have somewhere to send the worst of the worst and someone to partner with. And we'd like to continue that partnership because it's been a powerful message of consequences. Mr. President, you wanted people to know that there was consequences if you break our laws and harm our people and endanger families. And this is a clear consequence for the worst of the worst, that we have somewhere to put them.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting.
The reality is that he's part of the reason. He's taken, how many does he have there?
Well, it's border crossings are down by 99%, 99.1%, I believe he said, which is incredible and obviously so needed given what the Biden regime allowed to happen to our country. But it's amazing. I mean, you heard Secretary Noem pointed out the people don't even, the fake news media doesn't even bother to report on the real numbers. They don't even report the numbers at all. And then she proceeds to say that anyone who, is running cover for these violent criminals and gang organizations are basically America haters. They don't deserve to be here. And so I think the criminals, as well as the fake news media, need to be sent out of the country and locked up in El Salvador where they belong, because they're all criminals in my eyes and they don't deserve to be in America because clearly they hate it here.
Well, she slipped in a very interesting condition that should be a condition. People in this country who come here should love this country.
That's right.
Why should we let people in who don't love this country? We don't have to let everybody in. We can't let everybody in. We only have a certain amount of space. So you always have to limit immigration. So limit it to the people who really love this country.
That's right. And that shouldn't be controversial. And it is incredibly disgusting that the fake news media continues to run cover for these violent criminals. Specifically, hot topic today was Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the MS-13 gang member who was recently arrested and deported out of Maryland. It's like the leftist media wants him to come back into the country. The Supreme Court's trying to rule that he needs to come back. Trump basically said, no, he's staying there. And Bukele backed him up today. He said, why would I let this violent criminal go out of El Salvador? He belongs here and he's staying here. And the liberal media couldn't handle it. They were so up in arms as to why this could happen. We want this violent criminal back in America. They couldn't seem to wrap their heads around it. They kept going on and on about it all day. There were numerous times in which they kept asking the same questions repeatedly. In fact, there's another clip of Pam Bondi having to explain this further. I think we have that too, if you want to play that.
Yeah, go ahead.
These are sick people. Mark, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that was refusing to take people back in places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple.
The court specifically said he couldn't be sent back to El Salvador, though.
Point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, Mr. President, you said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago. And
How long do we have to answer this question from you? Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that?
Well, it's illegal.
Why do you
so
go over and over?
It.
And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have
Nobody likes you? Did he say nobody likes you?
He sure did. I think he was getting really fed up with CNN's Caitlin Collins. She was just on a roll today with the ridiculous questions.
I remember her very well because she did that first interview with him during the campaign about a year and a half before the election. She did the interview on CNN that CNN got criticized for because it wasn't harsh enough. It was actually quite harsh. It was just really stupid. It was just stupid. But
that's right.
Tell you, Allison, you have too much fun.
We've had, it's been a really fun day here. It's fun getting to see the liberal media get demolished by President Trump and his cabinet and having them finally be put in their place. They've gotten away with lies and misinformation for so long, so it's good to see them finally getting the tables turned on them. It's a nice breath of fresh air.
That is terrific. Well, thank you very much. Great report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Take care.
Thank you. Well, it is quite remarkable every day now to see him sitting there, and then it goes into a press conference with two heads of state every day, and he plays off the other head of state. What do you what do you think of them wanting to? They want this murderer back. Now you got to remember, Bukele is somewhat controversial in his own country for being so tough. He well, I mean, according to people that hate him, so who knows what, right? Who knows how much of this is true? He's shortened the trials and he's done mass trials, and of course he took over a country in which they didn't even know how many murders there were. He took over a country in which his predecessor, a socialist government, was entirely corrupt from top to bottom. There wasn't anything honest about it, kind of like Ukraine. And they actually were at the stage where they stopped counting murders. There are just too many of them, which is the reason the prison was built. And he has changed that dramatically. And he's changed the economy dramatically. One of the reasons he's doing is he's making money. He has to run a very, very difficult prison because he has maniac criminals in El Salvador, right? Including the MS-13 group. The MS-13 group is the group that came into America and chopped people's heads off. And they have groups like that there. It's just one group. Like it is just MS-13 or Trinidad. There are groups you don't even know. You're going to learn their names because they're here now. But they operate a lot of their gangs. Well, kind of like ours, right? They emerged as prison gangs. So these people emerged as prison gangs. And what Bukele has done is he's kept them in prison instead of recirculating them back into his country. So he must have been very interested in listening to these reporters desiring to have the people, the murderers and rapists he's keeping out of the United States, wanting them back. They're lonely for the murderers. And the liberal justices want them back. Do you understand this? These are not Americans. These are people who have no right to be here. It's a privilege given to them if everything is correct about them. And they don't have to be convicted of things. We don't have to prove they're members of MS-13. If we suspect it, out of an excess of caution for our safety, we don't let them in. We only let the best people in, or as Kristi Noem said, we let in the people who love America. If we do that, then we continue the country that Lincoln defined as a country of shared values. We do not share values with those animals that were sent to El Salvador. And the guy who they want back, their new hero, is hardly one of them. Maybe CNN wants to offer him a job. He could be the correspondent at the Sikot prison. Oh, we have a report today from Sikot prison from Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia, what happened today? Oh, I'm sorry. You wiped the blood off you. Yeah, okay. We'll get back to you in a second. Looks like Mr. Garcia has just killed somebody in the prison, but he'll be with us in a moment. This would be now Ted. This would be like his third murder in the prison since he's been there, right? Which is not bad because most of them scratch up about 5 when they first get in.
I think the general message is don't go to the United States, or else you might end up here with me.
That's what they do to their face. Now, we did not do that to them.
So they're showing us inside CCOT here. You can keep talking.
Man, those tattoo artists must be making a killing.
You have to understand that there are a significant number of the criminally insane among them, because when they threw them into the United States, not just from Venezuela, but from all over that area, they were getting rid of a lot of their worst people. They were having terrible problems down there including in Venezuela. Venezuela had 2 good years of crime reduction by sending them to Biden. Biden did crime increase in the U.S. and crime reduction in Venezuela. He should go live in Venezuela. They wouldn't take him. Well, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
You all know I stand by the truth. And if I put my name on something, I truly believe in it. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to something I'm incredibly proud of. My own brand of organic specialty coffee, Rudy Coffee. Believe me when I say it's the best coffee you'll ever try. It's smooth, rich, chocolatey, and gentle on your stomach. It's so good, I even recommend drinking it black. It comes in 3 varieties, including what I promise is the best decaf you'll ever have. You can order now by scanning the QR code on your screen or by visiting rudy.coffee. By supporting Rudy Coffee, you're not just treating yourself to exceptional coffee, you're also supporting our cause, the cause of truth, justice, and American democracy. You'll also be supporting the Call to Action nonprofit, which is devoted to helping veterans and first responders, so you can make a difference and taste the difference by ordering today at rudy.coffee.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows, only $14.98. Queens, $18.98. King size, only $1 more. Body pillows, $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
You can move that later.
Back.
This is the Rudy Giuliani Show, and we are back live from Palm Beach. And as you know, I have Dr. Maria with me. I wanted to ask her opinion of the new arrangements that are being suggested, or I think agreed upon, for the White House. Donald Trump is going to but change some of the White House.
I've heard, but I haven't seen. So your show is breaking this news to Dr. Maria.
So that's the changes. So get yourself oriented and
Well, I've been in the Oval Office. I've been in the White House.
do you remember where the dinner was for the Australian president that we were at?
Out in the Rose Garden.
And you see the arrow pointing to the Rose Garden?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Rose Garden, the grass will be paved over with white limestone, similar to what's currently on the border. I don't know if I agree with that.
And for what reason? I don't really
so people can walk around on there and be more comfortable.
Oh, I see.
And so they can have events on there and be more comfortable. Now, we had that event there, and I didn't find it uncomfortable.
It wasn't uncomfortable at all, but of course it was set up with tables and chairs.
Yeah.
But I didn't find it uncomfortable.
Well, how about the high heels digging into the grass?
Yeah, I don't recall, to
Yeah.
tell you the truth, if it did or didn't.
It rained a little that night too. Teeny bit.
Yeah.
I remember it was kind of fun.
I remember I was fascinated with the astronaut at our table.
Female astronaut.
No, he was a male.
Oh, a male
There
astronaut.
was about 6 different guests. I know Stephen Miller was one.
Yes, and his now wife.
And his
at that
now
time,
wife.
at that
And-
time, his date.
Yes, but I also I was fascinated medically about the astronaut and what happens to their cells, because their cells literally change when they're in space, and if they're in there prolonged amount of time, they have all kinds of problems. So,
I bet the space voyage today is going to yield unbelievable gains for science.
that was.
This
a
is
little joyride
their
for 11 minutes.
cells.
Less than 4 minutes in space.
Their cells must have changed enormously.
Maybe for the better. So
you think they came back with Trump supporter?
But
So, but
anyways,
the big
Mayor
change-
Giuliani, yes, I'm seeing a ballroom.
The big change is going to be on the other side of the White House. So the part that the people are always most people come in, see where it says Oval Office. If you move a little to the left and you see the street, that's where most people come into the White House. Or it isn't so much they come into the White House that way, but they come in.
Well, actually, can I ask you a question, Mayor? Where he's proposing that
May I have
ballroom,
that?
isn't that where the public comes in to do the tours of the White House?
Yeah. Public comes in over here on this side.
You want me to do that for you, Mayor?
Yeah. Public comes in on that side.
I thought so. They come here
Yeah.
and then they
Yeah.
go through this way.
And the business takes place now. Push over to the other
Here?
side. Business. That's the West Wing.
Yep.
Where all the work is done.
Yep.
Now, if you come further back from the West Wing, back more. That's the entrance. That's where you drive in. So when we drive into the White House, that's where we drive in.
Yep.
And you end up going
right. We usually
down
park
there
over
to
here.
you go right down that roadway.
Yep.
And that's where the cars
It's
are.
all coming back to me now.
And they have cars for the people visiting, cars for the staff, and then you have a gate. Now that's another security at that gate brings you into the inner sanctum of the White House, right? And that's where you'll often see the president's limousine, vice president's limousine, the first ladies, and you'll either go in that side entrance, which brings you into the basement office, or you walk around and you go into the more formal office, which looks out on the grounds. And if you're visiting the president, or you're visiting the vice president, or you're coming to a meeting at the Roosevelt Room, but as you can see, it's not a very big place.
Mm.
It's rather small.
Yes.
Now that ballroom. It looks like he's going to put the ballroom from Mar-a-Lago there.
What a beautiful ballroom. And you were there, right? You were one of the first peoples to be in. Why was it built, Mayor?
For the wedding.
For his wedding to
For
Melania.
the wedding of Melania and Donald. He built a ballroom at Mar-a-Lago to hold 1,000 people. And it now is used for many things.
Yes.
Conventions and
movie premieres.
New
Year's Eve big party.
New Year's Eve parties, whatever. I mean, whatever you want to use it for. Political events, non-political events. This looks like it'll be bigger. This looks bigger. Of course, it's also differently arranged. It's more rectangular in nature because it has to be to meet the. And it looks like it's going to be. I'm trying to think how big it's going to be. That space there, next to the new ballroom, the white space which is there already. That's basically, and then the walkway that leads to the White House. That's a lot of that's the First Lady's office. Her office is there, and her staff.
What is the purpose of doing the ballroom? Has he commented on that?
Well, there really isn't. The East Room and they almost have to be connected. you have to almost connect them together. So if you're let's say you're gonna have a state dinner for, who would you like to give one for? Georgia Maloney.
Isn't that
Nobody
funny? I was
else,
just going to
not
say
many
that.
others, right?
Yeah.
Georgia,
we love Georgia.
right?
And as a matter of fact, she's going to be visiting again soon because she's breaking a little bit from the EU and she wants to do her own trade deal between the United States and Italy.
Yeah. I mean, he should have it. He should have a dinner for her first.
Yes.
Or Malai, or one of the people,
Or how about the president of Hungary? You know, some of our big supporters who have stuck with us.
Hungary, or the Prime Minister of Japan. That'd be another good one.
Yeah.
He sent someone to the. He didn't come himself, but he sent someone to the inauguration.
Well, I have a question for you, Mayor. So I've only been to one state dinner. You've worked with many, many presidents. And the one I went to was out in the Rose Garden.
Two.
Oh, really? I'm surprised.
Well, I work for Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no other presidents invited me to state dinners but Ronald Reagan and George Bush did.
I was going to say, I bet George
invited
Bush
me to
did.
several. I'm sorry.
And so,
thank you, President Bush.
So tell me, were those inside or out? And if they're inside, where on this map are they?
Oh, they're inside that main building, the main building in the center.
Okay.
Downstairs.
Okay.
Is
it near the kitchen where I went in and found
yes. The East Room, the different rooms that I guess at one time were all considered very spacious ballrooms. But it seems to me, like if they have a concert at the White House and they use the East Room, maybe they get 100 people in, 200 people in, 250 people in. I don't know what a state, but what they'll do at a state dinner is they'll use several rooms. So, if you're the person at the children's table, half the people are insulted, right? Were you in the main room? No, I was in the third room. Oh, you're not important in Washington at all. You used to be in the second. You were a second room person. No, I was a first room person.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would happen there too, because some will be in the tables in the back and some will be in the table in the front.
I've seen old movies of the Kennedys. Of course, they were called the Camelot, right? They were the royalty. They were glamorous, young couple.
Yeah.
And I remember Jackie O in a strapless dress. She may have been wearing gloves as well. We should bring back gloves.
Well, I don't think anybody paid attention to state dinners until Jackie and then the Kennedys. Reagans brought them back because
they were very elegant.
Nancy knew how to do it. And I, of course, the one that I remember forever is when it was the president of Italy, and the entertainment after the dinner was
Berlusconi. No, who was it?
It was before Berlusconi.
Oh, before Berlusconi.
Yeah, way back. I was at Berlusconi's dinner too, and caught his podium. He knocked the podium over when he got up to speak.
Oh no!
He knocked the podium over, and I grabbed it. And I put it up for him.
You're always the hero.
Yeah, President Bush leaned over and said, you Italians stick together. Huh? So at the first dinner that I was at under President Reagan, the entertainment was Italian singers, Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett.
Isn't that something?
And Tony Bennett. You don't think of Frank Sinatra with Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
But they were terrific together.
I bet.
And then Ronald and Nancy danced. And then Frank Sinatra danced with her. And Tony Bennett danced with her.
Oh, how lovely. What great memories.
Yeah, well, hard to forget one like that. But that's what he's going to do. Okay. And that will allow for not only for state dinners, but for large meetings. Like if a group of people who are concerned about
illegal alien crimes,
artificial intelligence, cybersecurity conferences, you name it. I mean, all kinds of things. Help with education. Any number of things can be done there. Some of the things that Robert Kennedy is doing with health could be done there.
Yeah.
There's no place like that to do that, and that would be perfect.
Oh, look at they're showing some Here's exactly. You have a great crew who found that so quickly as you were spontaneously talking about it. President Reagan, Frank Sinatra, Nancy Reagan, and is that Tony Bennett on the right? No,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah,
It doesn't look like him.
Yeah, it's him. Much younger, much thinner.
Wow. You know, those seem like the golden days, right? Life seemed even simpler in the 80s. You know, a lot of us look back nostalgically to the 70s or even late 60s, but the 80s were still going pretty good. And Ronald Reagan certainly offered us
They weren't.
a lot.
They weren't.
Were.
In the
Even
late
though
70s,
interest rates, I remember in the 80s,
well, the 70s,
the interest rates were like 11 to 19%.
It took us 2.5 years to get out of stagflation.
Yeah.
And all through the 70s, we were in depression and stagflation.
Oh, God, I remember the gas lines.
Yeah. That's why.
That's when daylight savings time came into play.
That's why Donald Trump has got to hope that his changes are going to work quickly. Although right now, the economy is growing.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So let's see.
We don't talk enough about the investments.
What are you doing tonight at 9?
Oh, 9 o'clock, LindellTV.com. You can also watch it on Rumble, the Lindell TV channel. But I am doing a honoring or a commemorative show tomorrow. April 15th marks the 12th anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. So I go through it. It's important. I have an ex-CIA counterintelligence officer on, and he, like me, I keep saying, yes, we've slowed down everything at the border, but what about all these people in the country? I've been worried about cells, meaning Islamic terrorist cells, for a long time. He practically confirmed it. He says, oh, yes, they are here. So it's a really interesting show. I hope your audience will take a look at me. The Dr. Maria Show, LindellTV.com.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
9 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Of course, if you went on Tuesday and looked for my show, you could watch shows there too. But it's much better when it comes out.
She does a very good job of explaining. Everybody says that. Everyone says she's perfect.
I'm a teacher at heart. Well, medical providers, we teach all the time. We teach our patients.
I'm glad you're around, medical provider.
Yes, I'm taking care of my good buddy here.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining us.
Well, you only have 3 minutes left there, Mayor.
Oh, we have 3 minutes? The clock is wrong. We got to fix it. We got to fix that clock. We got to fix that clock. 2 minutes. 2 minutes off. Well, what about Trump? Right. Let's discuss Trump's health.
Trump's health, of course.
Where did he go for he went on Friday.
I believe he went on Friday. I didn't expect anything but a great report. The guy's out golfing all the time, moving around. He's got great mental clarity. I didn't expect any smoking guns. He got a great report. He says he got the highest number on the cognitive test.
The highest number is 30.
Yeah. There he is. There's our buddy doing his dance.
Well, you get to see him up close like that.
Yes.
When he comes in from the golf course.
Yeah.
He looks great.
He looks great. And he's in great health. Weight. And he's looking good. He's feeling good because he's driven, right? As you are a principled man, so isn't President Trump. And since his assassination, he has spoken openly about he feels this is a mission from God almost to save our country.
It is. And it's complicated as hell. There's so many things to straighten out. I mean, even this whole situation with tariffs and trying to straighten out the world economy. He's the main focus of the tariffs is China. It's to rearrange our economy so that number one, it doesn't subsidize China. China would not have its economy if we didn't give it to it.
I don't think we should back down with China, but that's my own opinion.
We created the Chinese economy. We gave them everything they have.
That's right.
We have tariffs with them that are 100 to 1.
Yeah.
It's absurd. You have them steal everything because they can't create a damn thing.
Nancy Pelosi even talked about it in a day when she was a little more honest with the American public.
They're a bunch of very narrow-minded, very smart, but very narrow-minded, non-creative communists.
Yeah.
And
They supported all the deportations under Obama.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. They wouldn't create a damn thing if they didn't steal it from us.
I think your show is up.
Well, in that case, we're going to.
You're going on to your next show, America's Mayor Live.
When you go on X, we're going to be discussing how close. We'll take both now. We'll take Iran and Israel and see how close we are to getting it resolved, and we'll take a look at the Israeli hostages, and also we'll take a look at what's going on with immigration, because there's plenty of changes that are happening, and they're good ones, and but still, we've got an internal problem of mass proportions. So, pray for the people of Israel, pray for the people of Ukraine. Pray for the people of Iran.
Pray for everybody.
Us.
Pray for every
Holy
person.
Week. This is Holy Week. It's just a few days after the Passover, and it's Holy Week. So pray to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, if you do, or to God. God bless America.
Amen.